Moving on from Celestia, which we do need a new name for, we have the plane of evil. There's actually 2 planes of neutral evil inside of the cosmos, but this is one of them, and it's right next to Celestia because it's considered that good and evil sitting side by side. The other one is very deep, and below the others is a dark place, and we'll get to that. But that's Inferno, which I believe is okay. I don't believe that's already taken. I think.
I mean, it's a word that existed before we started using it.
Well, yeah, like, because there's infernal, but I don't...
Inferno.
Yep. But I don't think Dungeons and Dragons... Yeah, because there's hell and there's the abyss. They don't have a plane that's called infernal or anything like that. But yeah, ours is called Inferno, and it's a bad place. Demons and the like come from Inferno, which inside our world, the fallen Lauren are called the Damos. And you really like the Damos, right?
Yeah.
And just imagine the Lauren, but now it's black feathers, charred feathers, and they have horns on their head instead of feathers. They have a much more gruesome desire to do the absolute opposite of what the Lauren do, to spread evil intent across the cosmos. So they're bad.
But they look cool.
They do look very cool. They're very cool. And so the Damos exists in Inferno, and the Lauren exists in Celestia. Some of the gods that exist inside of Inferno, which, by the way, none of them are major gods. There are no major gods in Inferno. They're all minor gods. We have Wrongfur, who is the great mess and the god of destruction. He's just a mess of mouths and tentacles and claws and nastiness, and it's the god of destruction.
I took a little bit of inspiration from H.P. Lovecraft.
Right. Except these gods don't exist like out in the space beyond reality type of thing. They exist within the cosmos. We'll get to outside of the boundaries of the universe in a minute. More than a minute. But so we've got Wrongfur, who is the god of destruction, but a minor god. We have Tyrannus, who was inspired by
Ethan.
It makes sense that Ethan created them because he always wants to play them whenever he shows up. The Denarant are a race of hobbit-like beings. They're halflings. They're little.
They're jockeys that ride dinosaurs.
They're halflings. They're hobbits, and they ride dinosaurs. Yes, they live in a place in the world that has dinosaurs existing in it. And Tyrannus is the dinosaur god of strength. And he lives inside of Inferno, but he's not evil. He actually goes to Inferno and lives there most of the time, but he treats it as his hunting ground. He travels.
He's there to combat the evil, and that was definitely Ethan that created that storyline.
Right. Tyrannus, the whole idea of the god was definitely inspired by Ethan, yeah. And then we've got Asha Rune. And Asha Rune is a god that hasn't really played much of a role inside of any role-playing game that we've done or anything of the like. Asha Rune is the god of immortality, but unnatural immortality. So necromancy, basically. If you make a pact with Asha Rune, you are becoming a lich, you are becoming a vampire, a zombie, a skeleton, something like that. Your immortality comes at a price. So we haven't done a whole lot of creation of Asha Rune.
Well, necromancy is kind of illegal in our world.
It wasn't even just illegal, it was considered like just a really bad thing to do for yourself.
Yeah, it's dangerous.
Because when you tapped into necromancy, you were allowing necromancy to potentially get cast either along with whatever magic you cast or in place of the magic that you cast whenever you tried doing that. So the players inside the games are not sure whether Asha Rune has had anything to do with this, All they ever found out was about this evil Lich Queen that they ended up destroying in one of the campaigns, quite easily, too. And when she died, all of the necromancy in the world stopped being the unnatural dark form that she was creating. And the Corlinians are not around right now. Nobody has seen many, really.
But there is a natural necromancy that exists, and it
Right.
belongs to the Gwens.
Right. And they're another being that exists, and another type of being that exists inside of Tanu. And we'll get to that in another video. And then there's also Du, who is the gold dragon god. The gold dragon god is evil. In Dungeons and Dragons, a lot of the time the gold dragon is lawful good, I think, or neutral good. I don't remember. I love Dungeons and Dragons. I love the flavor of it, how it's done, all that stuff. 3.5 was my jam, but
He loves homebrew
right.
way more.
I like making up stuff.
You can't
way
play a
more.
board game unless there's Sean rules in it.
Right, exactly. So in our world, Du is the gold dragon god, and gold dragons are evil. Over next to Inferno is Vaughn, which is a chaotic neutral plane, and Vaughn is the void. That was the plane of existence that the Illuvians tried to use the magic of in order to help them jump through time and space to get to Tanu from their own world. Some of the beings that exist inside of Vaughn the Void is Doron Tia, and Doron Tia is a major god. Doron Tia is the trickster god. Doron Tia has 4 arms. You never see his eyes. They're covered over by his mask. He's always playing games on the other gods. Everything is a game to him. He even tried playing a prank on Ilana early on in the creation of the cosmos, because Ilana very much cared about her beauty and her eternal forms that she had, but she was always wearing like long gowns and robes and dresses and stuff. Doron Tia took a robe and cut it down the middle and took off the sleeves and just gave it to her as a gift, explaining it to her that it was a thing called a cloak. And so Doron Tia actually created the cloak. It was meant to just be a silly gag of a gift on...
Like the Emperor's new clothes.
Right, on Ilana, because... And he said, like, this is like what you should wear as your new outfit. This would be good. And so she now, a lot of the time, only wears a cloak. She thought the cloak was a great thing, and so she ends up wearing that and nothing else a lot of the time. And Doron Tia finds it hilarious, and Ilana doesn't care. And so Doron Tia exists inside of Vaughn. Richa is kind of the god of the void. He is a Illuvian god, and he is the only being that is able to truly manipulate Vaughn, the void itself, and all of its chaotic neutral power. And then we have Zin, who is the Mormok goddess of time and the moon, and she's this whirling pile of mouths that are flying through the air. And the Mormoks are a barbaric race that barely have humanoid level sentience, and they're monsters, but they worship this goddess alone. What, you made it?
Not complete.
After the plane of Vaughn, the void, we go south, below the Midlands, below Qoria and Rog. I'm saying south. I'm saying down below, but that's really in a very like map type of way of looking at it. We would like it if you commented and gave us some ideas on how you think the map of the cosmos should be depicted. That way Ronan has something that he could base it off of and draw.
This is our luck dragon.
Yep, this is somebody who's bugging us right now. His name's Fizzgig.
Oh, well, we just merged two universes.
Yep, Dark
Sorry
Crystal.
about that.
Yep, if you're a fan of Dark Crystal, then you'll be a fan of our dog, because he is that creature.
And if you're not, and you're a fan of Neverending Story, he is also a luck dragon.
And if you're not a fan of either of those, get out of here.
Right, why are you watching our video if you're not a fan of either of those stories? And so if we go down below Qoria, the purple circle that's over there, Pardala,
It's closest to you, that's great.
which is the
Great.
which is the plane of law. It's depicted as an eternal library that stretches on forever and ever and ever. Inside of Pardala, that is also thought of as the place of where all magic starts from, because one of the major gods lives in Pardala, and his name is Frindle, and he is the god of creation, of magic, and all those types
But
of
the
things.
Unicorns do not believe that.
They worship the mighty Uni and the great Corn.
The Unicorns believe that magic started with their gods.
Right.
Even though their gods didn't tell them that.
The Unicorns are definitely elitists.
I started the race, and then Sean took them over and created monsters.
Took them over. Like, yeah, you came up with them, and then I just kind of like developed their society more, and based on the way they were, it made sense that they were not necessarily great people. They are great, they just know that they're great too, and so they hold that over everybody else's heads.
We all know that real life unicorns are not like that.
Yeah. And so we've got Frindle, who's a major god of magic, and then we have Plona, who is the god of wisdom, and it's an Illuvian god. And then we've got Linhufka, who is the goddess of secrets and of treasure. And all three of those gods exist inside of Pardala, so it's an important plane of existence, being the plane of just true law, of lawful neutral power and the containment of reality. If you go over from Pardala, you get to the other plane of evil. Inferno is a plane that broke off of Celestia, and they're fighting with each other, and so there's this always going on, eternal war going on between all that is good and all that is evil. But the evil of Inferno came from Celestia, and so it's two factions that are at war with each other. Shana is a plane of its own evil. It didn't come from good. It didn't spawn off of. It was created as a plane of evil by one of the major gods, and that god was Slamfarnik.
It's like a Freudian name that you've got going on here.
Shana?
Yeah.
Why?
Are you trying to tell us something?
No.
Comment down below if you think Sean is evil, and that's why he named this plane Shauna.
And so there's Shana, and the name was originally just the Crossroads. That was the name of this plane of existence. But I ended up wanting to give it some made-up name.
And so he used his.
It's not spelt the same. So Shana is a plane of evil, of darkness. Slamfarnik created the Crossroads. She created Shana. She created evil itself. Evil and darkness are her doing. Besides her, there is also Ka, who is the black dragon god, very evil being. And then there are also the Dagada and the Shadow Children that exist inside of the Crossroads. Shadow Children are the servants of Slamfarnik. They were an original idea that I came up with based off of these very short little news clipping short stories that I made up for...
We were going to do a creepypasta.
Yeah,
And
about the Shadow Children.
That's like, you know, it's like the Black-Eyed Children and stuff. We wanted to create this really great mythos, and didn't work out, so we put it in our game instead.
Right. They ended up being a really cool
Yeah.
addition to this world, and ended up being part of a really great campaign that a bunch of our PCs ended up dealing with
For like 3 years.
for 3 years, and then they left it alone because they thought they won, and they're just now, with new characters, dealing with a new campaign, are just now finding out about the final steps inside of that campaign of the Shadow Children, and seem to be getting close to finally unraveling the full mystery and defeating the Shadow Children once and for all. And then the Dagada is when a collective of Shadow Children come together and form this one dark, horrible mass, this like dark fog. Outside of all of this cosmology, outside of the universe as we know it inside of the Tanu role-playing game, there is Guru. And Guru is the beyond. The beyond is everything outside of those planes of existence. There are not a whole lot of beings that are known about inside of the beyond. One of them is a god whose name is Lone. Lone lives outside in the beyond. Unlike the other gods, he doesn't have to be believed in order to exist. He can exist by himself on his own. He doesn't need faith in order to keep living, which makes him very different, very unique in comparison to the other gods.
And his name is spelled Lone.
Yeah.
Not Lon.
Right, Lone for lone. Then there are the Nyaya Zuiaki. It's a very strange name, I know. But I wanted it to be strange because it's something in the beyond. And the Nyaya Zuiaki, are a race of strange alien-looking creatures that have sharp barbs coming off of their bodies, and they have gems encrusted all over their body. Mages seek them out and try to hunt them down because these crystals, each of them have a different color, and each color corresponds to a different type of magic. And those crystals have a lot of energy to them, a lot of magical power. So when mages get a hold of these crystals, it amplifies whatever it is that they try doing magically of that type of magic. The Nyaya Zuiaki are hunted for these crystals, which is pretty bad because there's not tons of them out there. And then there's the Kernigans, who live inside of the beyond as well. And the Kernigans are these three beings that one sees everything that's ever happened in the universe. One sees everything that's happening right now, everything that's in the present. And then one sees all potential futures. The three of them are basically the fates inside of the universe of Tanu. They were part of the creation of the universe, and they ended up having a war with the other gods that the other gods started. And the other gods won and imprisoned the Kernigans out inside of the beyond and made it so that people forgot about them because they didn't want the three fates being believed in again, being thought of, being worshipped, because then that would give the Kernigans power again and possibly allow them to take back their place as the dominant divine beings inside of the cosmology of Tanu. That is Tanu in a nutshell on a cosmological level. With that said, we are going to be creating a Patreon, and we're hoping that people will join this Patreon and start to support the work that we're doing here with the art that Ronan is making, the writing that I'm doing, the ideas that Kim comes up with, and being able to help...
Your ideas.
Right, and your ideas to help come up with a more in-depth, developed world of Tanu.
One of our goals is a book series.
Yes, yeah, we want to create a series of short stories. I already have one written that eventually I'll be doing as a reading on here, and it's called Finn, and it's about a being that is a mouse race called the Zillikan, and he is named Finn, and it's his story of how he formed the society of the Zillikan. We have a tabletop role-playing game that we do every other Monday that is set inside of the world of Tanu. We have a LARP that happens on the other Mondays that is set inside of the world of Tanu. I would love it if we could get this going and try to find enough support to be able to create actual books for all of this work and to develop an entire system that is much more...
concise?
Yes, concise would be a good word. Rather than a lot of it only in my brain or on our Facebook group page and...
Or straggling around on different pieces of paper.
Right, or straggling around on different pieces of paper, exactly. Having that financial support would help out all of those things that we do, and we run a theater. We run a theater in Vermont, and I founded it in 2017. We put on plays here. We work with community, doing community theater, so a lot of youth and a lot of families getting involved in our productions. We host movie nights. Like I said, we do a LARP, we do role-playing games. We host many different groups who are coming here, whether they're putting on plays, and we try to be a nice space for the community that exists around us. And we try to make ourselves very affordable and attainable for people inside of the community. And so we don't charge a lot. So one of the reasons why we created this Patreon was to hopefully find enough financial support to be able to allow this Patreon to also help support our theater. It would be a really great thing to have enough people out there who even just wanted to donate $1 a month type of thing or something like that. If we had enough people doing that, then that would be enough to be able to support our entire theater. And that would be amazing, and we would be able to keep doing this and create as much of this as we want while also doing all of our other work that we do. So if you like what we're doing here and you like the sound of what else we do when we're not creating this YouTube page, please subscribe, hit the like button, comment below, help us with our reach and being able to bring awareness to what we're doing here. And if you have any ideas for what the cosmology of our map should look like, comment below. And please keep an eye out for more videos that we put up.
Feel free to comment below what you'd like to see in our videos.
Yes.
If you think the pace is okay, what you think we could do more of or less of.
Right, yep. And what you would like for us to discuss about our world of Tanu. We put up pictures of the maps, we put up pictures of the cosmology, of other things like that. If you see anything that you're like, I want to know more about that, then we can do a video discussing and going in depth about that. And if we have things that we don't have about that part of the world, we will start creating it together on those days. Right, with you, with us, through these discussions, and you can be a part of helping really shell out this world inside.
Right.
of.
Let us know if you want different series too. Maybe we could
Right.
do a series on that theater and our work with kids, or what
The
Tech
LARP
Week
or-
is like.
Right, Tech Week. We could do theater. We could do lots of different things because we are involved in many different things. And so do you want to know more about us? Do you want to know about our LARP? Do you want to know about our role-playing game? Do you want to know about our sugar gliders that we have?
Furry fandom.
Right, like anything. Like we could get involved in all of these different things. So yeah, let us know what you're looking for and what we can do to be a part of that. And thank you for watching.
We'll be here once a week.